Alright. We are all over the place today. Alright, so coming into this, we have Yoshi versus Honeybear. Going to be a very cool match. I think so. So Yoshi, I didn't quite get to talk about him. However, he has quite the accomplished resume, honestly, as far as community activity with StarCraft 2. He is a founder of the High School Star League, which is pretty sick, to be honest. That's pretty amazing that he founded what is now a very pretty large organization. I think they have quite a large number of high schools in the league, and that is pretty awesome. And so yeah, he's done that. He's done a number of other community efforts. He's helped out with the Team Liquid Map Makers Challenge, which helped out in choosing what would eventually become a Blizzard ladder map with. It was I don't quite remember. I will get back to you. No, I won't. Maybe I will. Either way, he helped out with the Team Liquid map making contest. He was one of those judges, which is pretty sick. So, in the bottom side of the map, we have our pink Terran player. He is Yoshi. In the top right of the map, we have our purple Zerg player. He's currently sending out kind of a quick scout. That's very interesting to me. With Honeybear. I guess it's not super fast. That's like a 9 or 10 drone scout. So something interesting about Yoshi, and hopefully these games don't go forever, we'll see, but Yoshi on his Twitch page, he says that he is almost always a mech player. I don't know if he's changed since then and decided to, do something else and maybe go for bio more often, but if he's always going to go mech, these will make for some pretty interesting games, maybe extremely long games. I don't know. I kind of hope not, but we will see. If they do go extremely long and we need somebody to update players to keep on getting through the bracket, my lovely co-host Sam Holtman will help me out there. He's currently in-game. I should probably just ban him from playing in the games, to be honest, and he'll just help out admin stuff. Because once you get to a certain point, especially on this first day, it's pretty hard to manage all the players, manage all the stream, and all of that, especially when people drop out. And there's a little bit of uncertainty there, so we had a little bit of a slowdown, but I don't think we're not terribly far behind on schedule. We're 1 hour into the broadcast, and we've got one game down. We're starting the next one. I'm feeling okay with the schedule for the tournament so far today, and hopefully the players are doing okay with it. It's a little bit sad, a little bit disappointing when players decide to drop out, but hopefully it's nothing terribly negative. Maybe he just had something to do. Maybe just not able to dedicate the amount of time needed to finish out the tournament. So honestly it's better than dropping out near the end. You don't want to be in a top 4 scenario and then suddenly somebody drops out and you're like, it's difficult. So it's better to drop out at the beginning than at the end, I suppose, although unfortunate regardless. So because there was actually 2 of our Terran players too, 2 of our Grandmaster Terran players dropped out. It happens. Let's talk about the game a little bit, though. So Yoshi, he's not getting a whole lot of gas. So I thought he was going to be going... I thought, he would go for... Am I an idiot? Why does this overlay not work? Work, damn it. Confused. I don't know. The best of little icons not showing up for me. We'll figure it out. Am I really just not doing it right? No, I'm not doing it right. I don't care. Screw it. Alright, so let's talk about the game. That's much more important than working on the overlay. So right now, Honeybear, he's gone for a quick gas. Not quick gas, but a pretty quick gas. He's gotten Zergling speed coming down. He wants to take map control. I know last Midwest Cup he was being very aggressive in his Zerg versus Terrans. He would even take what I would consider a pretty late third base. Kind of surprisingly late, which is I thought it wouldn't work out very well, to be honest, just because I'm the type of Zerg player that, I think you gotta macro, you gotta get your economy going, but for Honeybear, he's all about being aggressive, and he is banking up speedlings right now. He's moving across the map. Yoshi does see this with his Reaper. Unfortunately, the Reaper, he got to scout, but that's about it, and now he has a very exposed natural base. He will have to lift this off just to save it. He's got a couple of Hellions that will probably be able to defend properly. There's no Baneling follow-up here, so Honeybear is not going to bust this really, but he's going to keep Yoshi in his base, and it looks like Yoshi going for a Banshee follow-up to this 3-base opener. So he looks like he was going to try and go for some Hellion Banshee play, be also a bit aggressive. But it looks like Honeybear has a bit of a different opinion. Now, the Banshee will push Honeybear out of here as well as the Hellions, and pretty good Hellion control. Roasting a couple Zerglings, getting them to get pushed out. However, Honeybear is not overcommitting on these Zerglings. He's keeping Yoshi in his base so that he can start up his lair tech, and I know from the games I've seen of Honeybear against the Terran, he loves his mutas. And he is very good with his mutas. He has very good and strong aggressive mutalist control. We'll see if Yoshi with his really heavy, not really heavy, but the fairly aggressive, although pretty standard Banshee Hellion timing. Oh, these Hellions get caught on creep. That is bad. Okay, so I was going to say he has a bit of an aggressive Banshee Hellion attack coming down. However, he's lost all of his Hellions, and so now it's just one Banshee flying in, trying to get a couple kills. He's targeting down a Queen. He should take it out before being killed. He does have that cloak. However, an Overseer coming down, so we'll see if the Banshee is able to get very many kills. He'll get a few. However, pretty soon he's going to have to leave. That Overseer finishes up, and the Banshee will, Yoshi, I think he'll be able to micro it away, and he'll be able to save it. That is very good. There is a very large Zergling counterattack coming down to Yoshi's base, though. He's having to pull some SCVs. He does have 4 Hellions. They have to live. They're being very close to being surrounded, and they do get surrounded. The SCVs, they're going to help out with the attack, help out with buff some damage, but they just can't quite do it. And now Yoshi is down to 25 SCVs against 48 drones of Honeybear. Honeybear has Zerglings in Yoshi's natural base. His mules are getting picked off, so he just used a mule call down and they all got picked off, wasting a lot of potential income. He has one Banshee just poking at away at a Baneling nest, not microed very well. I guess he's very busy trying to hold off his Zergling horde. And he does start to micro it and take out a couple of drones, but the Queens will come over with the Overseer and they might pick it off. He'll probably be able to get away though. He's trying to get kind of greedy though. Ooh, and he gets picked off. Ooh, so now the aggressive potential of Yoshi, he is building a whole lot of Banshees. And he's continuing to build a whole lot of Banshees, which I guess it does mean he is really going for mech. I kind of thought it was maybe going to transition into a bio sort of play, but now that Yoshi is behind, I mean, it kind of makes sense to... Mech can do okay if you turtle up. You know, you just want to try and catch up and not die to your opponent, and see how it goes. And so maybe with some solid defensive mech play, God, I hope this game doesn't go on forever, but we'll see. Honeybear is he is understanding though that Yoshi is behind. Has he seen this base? He has seen that 3rd base for Yoshi, so he knows that Yoshi has the potential to drop down, to lift off his base, take that 3rd base, and be on an okay economic position. And so Honeybear is trying to get questionable defense there, to be honest, of his 4th. However, it was a pretty quick 4th base coming down at the same time as his 3rd, although a rather delayed 3rd base. And Honeybear, he will be taking out these Banshees. Again, really slowing down the aggressive potential of Yoshi. And Yoshi, he's never been able to get this supply depot wall down. And a couple of Zerglings come in. They're not actually going to do as devastating of damage. However, maybe I've lied, because he's got another round of Zerglings coming in. He's got mutas coming down. Yoshi has very little anti-air. He's got two Thors coming in. However, they're still 30, not 30 seconds away, but maybe 10 seconds away from finishing now. And they might be able to force these Mutalisks back. However, now Honeybear is currently in the position where he doesn't have a ridiculous worker lead. He's only at 53 drones, but he's been killing so many SCVs of Yoshi that he doesn't have to be up to that like 75 sweet spot, you know. And especially with seeing mech coming out, I'm a little bit surprised that Honeybear is sticking with this Mutaling style. Although I think due to the fact that he's just dealt so much damage to his opponent so far, he's feeling pretty comfortable with just being able to take the very squishy, very easy to kill, however very mobile army and take that map advantage. You know, he'll take this extra base. As we can see, it's coming down right now. He might consider even taking this very forward base so that he has a very quick resupply, a lot of good creep spread toward his opponent to try and choke Yoshi out. He says, Yoshi, if you're going to turtle on 2 bases, that's fine. You know, I'll just take 6. I'll go ahead and I will out macro you. I will fly around. I'll keep you on these 2 bases for the rest of the game because, hey, I've got some really amazing aggressive Mutalisk control and I'm going to work with it. Honeybear, he has gone up to that sweet spot of 75 to 80 drones. It means you are fully saturated on these 3 bases with drones on minerals and gases, and then you're gonna, well, doing a lot of minerals. Usually we'll drop down and just take these gases, kind of slow down on the mineral income a little bit because Zerg is really, really desperate to get a whole lot of gas. However, oh baby, how did I miss that? Alright, the transition to roaches. This game has been really intense with the mutas so far that I didn't even see the roaches coming in. So Honeybear says, okay, well, you made Thor, and I think it was because Yoshi is directly countering that that Mutaling style with Thors and with Widow Mines. Mutalisks and Zerglings, they like to clump up a lot. Splash damage is very, very effective against them, so he switched over into roaches, a much more hardy unit that can take some of those shots from the Thors and make the Mutalisks clump up. They will nearly all get wiped out by the Thors, but the fact that there are just so many roaches down here, he doesn't care. He'll just move out. He will attack move his way into victory. Zerg the A move race, as everyone says. Just kidding. You always like to make a little bit of balance while in pretty much every game, right? So this 3rd base, it's getting lifted off. Yoshi is trying to retreat it. He does manage to repair it. It's not going to die. However, it's not going to be mining. And so now we're at the point where Honeybear is at a ridiculous income advantage. So Honeybear, he can lose this whole army. He's got, I don't know, he's only got 16 larvae right now, but with all these bases, he will have much more larvae. He'll have much more money. He will throw away as many of these roaches as he wants to, and very quickly and cheaply resupply them. And if he kills this natural expansion, yeah, that is very close to game over. Yoshi calls GG, has to tap out of this one, and we will be moving into game 2 of Yoshi versus Honeybear. Honeybear taking the first game with a very aggressive Zergling Muta attack that really caught Yoshi just off guard. And it brings him up to 1-0 in the matchup. So you're back down into this. Our next match will be on Nimbus. And I will make that one. We'll go into Nimbus, a little bit of a bigger map, a very good map for, I honestly think is pretty good for Terran, personally. Because that tucked away expansion, and we'll see it when we get into the game, but that tucked away expansion is very easy to take for any race. It's an in-base expansion basically. And so while Zergs, they love taking a quick natural expansion, but they also would really prefer to be able to deny the natural expansion of their opponent somehow. But with that, we'll talk about it when we're in game. Regardless, that last game, I think honestly, I think Yoshi, he wasn't ready. I mean, he obviously wasn't ready. And you know, maybe he's felt out Honeybear a little bit. He's saying, okay, Honeybear, you were extremely aggressive last game. I'm going to be a little bit more defensive this game. And we will see if that's reflected in his play. We are going into the game. We're starting it up. Game 2, Honeybear versus Yoshi. I'm still solo casting because my co-caster let me win, also known as Sam Holtman, or should it be the other way around? He's currently playing in a match. I can't. My overlays. There we go. We're going into the game. All right. That amateur level production, guys. Okay. Did I have music last time? I don't know if I did. Did I have game music? I had game sounds. Game sounds are important. Game music is also fun. Let's do it. All right, we are into this second game of. Yo, does this work? Hello. All right, we're gonna check this out. All right, so this is. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, buddy. All right, that's my problem. All right, so it is a best of 3 between Honeybear, our master level Zerg player, who really master is. I mean, he's been grandmaster. He just hasn't played in a while. He's from Illinois. He is Honeybear. And then up in the top right side of the map, he is from Michigan. He is our master mech Terran player. He is Yoshi, playing for Alloy Esports. A decently well-known team, although I guess Ruff isn't on Alloy Esports, is he? Ruff had a. We'll just not talk about that. But no, Alloy Esports, I mean, I think they're still an established team, and I'm sure they still have respectable people, even if, you know, one person can very easily tarnish a reputation, and that's no fun. We don't want to dwell on that. You got to look at the individual, not at the team. So, Honeybear, getting a little bit lucky with his first scout. He's going to see Yoshi right away, or about as quick as can be. He's going to see that Yoshi's up in the top right part of the map, and he's probably going to be able to. He's definitely going to be able to see this this refinery. So we'll see at least one, and that's a very good indicator of your opponent's opening up with a Reaper, which is very, very, very standard for Zerg versus Terran. It looks like we got some rough emotes coming out in the chat. And Honeybear, on the other hand, has chosen to go with an expansion first, a hatchery first. Also a very standard play. I mean, basically every Zerg versus Terran, hatchery first is always a good choice, unless you're going for a spawning pool first for like a really quick speed, or very quick queens, and then actually some greedy hatchery expansion taking shortly after. So in this game though, Honeybear, I think it's the same, I'm pretty sure it's the same opener as last time. He's gonna get this 100 gas. We'll see if he takes off of gas at 100 mined, and then he will start up Zergling speed and try and be aggressive. However, Yoshi is going to be much more prepared, I believe, for this aggression this time, because like I said, on this map, Yoshi has an in-base natural, so he can go ahead and he can take this expansion very quickly, and although he's banking a lot of money, that's a little bit concerning. Okay, now he's spending it, and he's spending 400 of it. He had 600 plus banked up. He's spending 400 on that natural expansion. Maybe he'll go for, he did do a quick 3-base build last game, so he might take this factory and maybe go down for a command center. We will see. But it looks like, as I had mentioned, Honeybear going for that quick speed, and actually Yoshi was able to scout that. He saw here that there were no drones mining at that extractor anymore, and if you click on the extractor you can see, okay, he's got 100 gas mined, a little bit more than that, and so he's definitely getting Zergling speed, and he's going to have that aggressive push that he had before. So Yoshi, if he's able to adapt, might have a much better time holding that off, and he is getting that third command center down. So in this game, I mean, so far I'm liking Yoshi's position because his Reapers. Oh, he lost that one Reaper. That's rough. That's a little bit tough to happen. However, he still has one out on the map. He's probably not going to be able to be aggressive with these Reapers anymore. Sometimes you try and maybe get a queen kill. Excuse me. If you can get off killing some queens, forcing out more Zerglings, always a great time with a couple of Reapers out on the map. But having only Sam, you're not even in this game. I don't know why I invited you to the call.
Yeah, I'm not observing, but I am watching the stream, Kevin, so it's a delay of 15 to 30 seconds. I can give invaluable expertise on the game.
Alright, so maybe I don't know, whatever. I'll just guess. Alright, so it looks like, I'm kicking you out of the call, Sam, sorry. Okay, Sam's out of the call, screw him. Sounds like his game is over, so he'll be joining me for whatever we cast next. But back into the game, we have Yoshi. He's sending some SCVs down to his natural expansion. This game a lot less aggressive out of our Zerg player, and pretty rightfully so. I think he understands that this map, it's a very easy to defend natural base. So it's really hard to actually break into there and do some damage to your opponent with those speedlings. He is going for a pretty quick lair, and then a third hatchery. So, and he also is getting up not a ridiculous amount of Zerglings, but 18 Speedlings will give him pretty strong map control. And yeah, I think, although really, that amount of Speedlings, it's nice for map control, but I don't think it's really going to get him the success that he got last game with it. And we do have a Banshee coming down, is going down for this natural expansion of the Zerg player. He's going to take out some drones. There's no Spore Crawler to fend it off. There are some Queens, however the Banshee doesn't quite have Cloak. Yoshi chose not to go for Cloak this game. I guess he noticed that last game Honeybear was very effective at holding off a cloaked Banshee, so he says, you know what, I'm not going to spend money on Cloak. I'm just going to get a Banshee out, and I'm going to go ahead and do the other things that I want to do with that money that I would have spent on Cloak anyway. Because as we could see, there already was, I've lost it, but there was an Overseer ready to stop a cloaked Banshee from doing any shenanigans. These Hellions by Yoshi, they were thinking about running by. I think they probably saw that there were no drones, and it's time to go home. He's still, how does he feel on map vision? It's not amazing. He did check this fourth base. He sees that it's not there, but I'm not sure that he's seen, he definitely hasn't seen, he's got to know that there's a layer, but he hasn't seen the spire yet. He's probably expecting it, thus the missile turrets. They are coming down to deflect off the mutas that are coming out right now. There's going to be 9 of them on the field for our Zerg player. 10 of them. And we will see if Honeybear can get much done with mutas. Well, there's a couple of Banshees, and that is going to probably either some Queens are going to come down, or the mutas will have to go home to actually defend this. So he will lose those Banshees. However, Cloak. Oh, he doesn't have Cloak. He would have gotten it anyway, even if there was Cloak. He only gets 3 drone kills. A little bit hard. However, he kept Honeybear from attacking for those 30 more seconds, giving Yoshi a little bit more time to build up his defenses. Yes, he just barely gets that supply depot wall up. He cleans up just about all of the Zerglings. Honeybear pretty smartly targets down the supply depot, runs a couple of Zerglings in. They're going to cause a bit of a mess. If Yoshi chooses to attack with his SCVs, he cleans those SCVs up pretty well. And while Yoshi has a good missile turret spread on his mines, he doesn't have really anything defending right on his production. So Honeybear's been camping on those production facilities, just killing units as they come out, killing off additions to the buildings, and generally just having a great time. However, on the other side of the map, 21 drones roasted by a run-by of 6 Hellions. Those Hellions are earning their Purple Heart today. Unfortunately, they will never make it back home to claim their reward. Maybe a couple will. And so that Yoshi's not out. Yoshi's not out of it. It doesn't quite bring him back into it. He lost quite... How many workers have we lost? Okay, Yoshi hasn't really lost a whole lot of workers. He just hasn't been making them quite as quickly as Honeybear has been. And so that's why we're seeing a deficit of workers, even though Honeybear has lost 21 of them. So 27, oh dear. So, I mean, in this game already, Honeybear has made, I'm going to do math on stream, this is the worst choice ever, 92 drones. However, he's lost 27 of them, so it's, you know, it's still kind of anybody's game. And this game, alright boys and girls, get your popcorn, kick up your feet, because we're going turtle time. This might be terrible. We'll see how it goes. So it's Mechtaron versus Swarm Host. Pretty easily one of the longest way or best ways to make a game go forever. However, Honeybear, aggressive as always, is choosing not to just sit at his base. I mean, sometimes if you go Swarm Host, you know, you take your 4th base, right? You make like 100 spore crawlers pretty much everywhere, and then you leave your opponent with 1 attack path to try and do anything to you. However, Honeybear is not choosing to go that route. He's choosing to move his Swarm Host out. He's going to try and push the pressure on because I think he knows that there's very little tanks coming out. He saw Thors being made, and if Thors are being made, you can't be making tanks quite as quickly. And what you really need to take out these locusts from the Swarm Host effectively without losing things, then you're going to need tanks. Like, as we saw, he already had to cancel this command center. If he had more tanks on the field, those locusts would have been killed off before they actually engaged in the army. And right now, Honeybear is okay with this. You know, it's going a little slow, but he's getting basically free damage off every time these locusts come out. Swarm Host, get home. Ooh, we've got a run by from Yoshi. It is spotted by Honeybear. He's sending the Mutalisks home. He's going to try and stop that. And Honeybear's being pretty smart with his Swarm Host too. He's leaving a couple back at the exposed bases. Well, it might be coincidental, to be honest, but it does help a little bit. It helps with the AI of the Hellions. They might just attack those locusts instead of going for the very exposed drones. So we're up to both players. Yoshi is moderately comfortable on his 3rd base. He's getting that tank count up. He is up to just 5, so not just barely enough, I think, maybe to clean up these locusts before they do a whole lot of damage. But on the other hand, Honeybear is taking his 4th and his 5th base. Is he going up to a hive? He's already got his hive finished. Probably finished that a while ago, to be honest. Let's look at some upgrades for our players. It looks like Yoshi, he is getting that vehicle plating and vehicle armor. Vehicle plating and vehicle weapons. He's got +2/+2 in both of those. While Honeybear is going for the melee attack. A little bit questionable, although I think it might work out. Come out actually positively in the end. He picks off a couple of siege tanks. That's the really important thing to him right now. Well, it's really, if he can pick off siege tanks, then his Swarm Hosts are infinitely more effective. These sounds are so loud. A little bit quieter. Got production value right there. Alright, so Honeybear, ooh, we've got a run by? We don't have a run by. Alright, Honeybear he's been pretty effective with his Swarm Host so far. He's been taking out, with each wave, if he takes out just 1 unit, 1 siege tank every wave, he's actually pretty happy with that. I'm kind of questioning the Zergling, the heavy investment into Zerglings. However, I do really like the Ultralisk switch. I've seen it in quite a number of games. If you just get pretty quick Ultras, your Terran opponent just doesn't really have the right army to deal with that. He's only going to have 1 Thor. Siege tanks are okay against Ultras, but they attack so slow, and the AoE doesn't really do anything to them. So the Ultras will be able to pretty easily wreck this, I think. If Yoshi can pull off a miracle, he's got a run by of Hellions that's a little bit desperate, to be honest. He knows he needs to do something. He's got the Hellbats running by, some Hellions, a little bit of kind of miscontrol, and the Ultras will be able to come back and clean it up. He's still got Swarm Hosts fighting up against, butting their heads up against tanks. Yoshi's desperately trying to keep his Thors alive. He knows he needs to keep those alive, otherwise all of these Mutalisks of Honeybear will simply come over and wreck all of those tanks. The Ravens, very good control by Honeybear to dodge those Seeker missiles. And it looks like, oh man, this is a tough game. For Yoshi, he's just barely holding on, and he's moving over into, and I think it's pretty strong. I think he needs to have a few more tanks though, as we can see right here, these Ultralisks. Thankfully, Yoshi has pretty good SimCity, and so the Ultras aren't really as effective in their attacking. They get stuck on these bases. They're not able to engage the targets that they want to engage. So while that was an okay attack from Honeybear, he is running low on minerals. And he keeps trying to pump out these Zerglings to try and bust his opponent and kind of just get that quick win, or he's trying to finish out the game a little bit more quickly, because I think he just wants to be over with. He doesn't want to deal with a very, very late game, very Raven heavy Terran player, because, I mean, as a Zerg player myself, that's not fun. So he's trying to clean these up. These Ravens and these Vikings and these Banshees are hunting down these Swarm Hosts, and they are kind of having their way with them. There is a big swell of Zerglings, and how many Ultras do we have? We have only 2 of them, so that's not too ridiculous. It's definitely not quite enough to bust that Terran player. Yoshi is trying to now take his 4th base. He's going to float quite a few command centers over. Where are those coming from? I'm not too sure. Okay, they're building them. Okay. He's building all of the planetary fortresses this game. We've got a run by onto the 3rd and onto the 4th. Pretty effective, killing off 4, 5, 6 workers. Bringing the workers killed count up to 59 by our mech player. Usually, you don't see run-bys that are this effective from a mech player, but that's also because the Zerg response is usually to just go ahead and turtle up as well, and then you get this turtle fest, and it's painful for the people playing, for people watching. It can be frustrating, but this is a pretty aggressive Zerg versus Terran, Swarm Host versus mech game. Honeybear is keeping it interesting. He's keeping it aggressive. He wants to just break his opponent. He wants to put on so much aggression that his opponent just can't handle it, but it looks like Yoshi's very comfortable with his style. He's played this style a lot before, as I mentioned before. According to his Twitch page and his info there, he's been a mech player since Winds of Liberty, and he'll be a mech player until the end of Legacy of the Void. And so he knows his way around the mech arsenal. And he's definitely showing that proficiency here, getting those 59 worker kills with his Hellion run-bys, effectively dealing with these Swarm Host siege, and even killing off lots of them, which really, you never want to lose a Swarm Host as a Zerg. They are extremely cost-effective, but they're only cost-effective as long as they're alive. If they die off, suddenly you're spending a lot of money, you're spending a lot of... well, the supply is not ridiculous as far as expenses go, but you're spending a whole lot of minerals and a whole lot of gas on units that you don't want to be replacing. You don't want to replace Swarm Hosts. You want to make them once, and you want to never lose them. A big Zergling run by Honeybear. Why do I mix up Honeybear and a Hypernia? Those H's, though. It's just gonna delay that 5th base from Yoshi coming down, but it's not gonna stop it. Honeybear GG's, he says, I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm up 1-0. I'm gonna say GG. We're gonna go on to a 3rd match for this game. So Yoshi manages to pick up a win on Nimbus, which might have been his pick. We'll see if Sam wants to join me for the cast. Let me see. we want to do some okay, so I am double checking with Sam if he will be joining me for the cast, or he might be helping out with managing the rest of the players in their matches, because this match is going not ridiculously long, but it's going a little longer than most of them. So a lot of the other players might have been finishing up their matches, and we'll move into the next round for a lot of the players, but we still have to finish up this one. So what do we have? Let me see. Hey, Sam.
How's it going, Kevin?
Okay, we've got... shoot. Can I make this extension mod? Wrong screen. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we'll be going into Deadwing. Shit. There we go. Create with mod. Game art. Da, 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 da. So yeah, Yoshi pulling it out with the Mectarian, man.
Yeah, dude, that was really kind of a cool play. A lot of that was, like you were saying, because Honeybear didn't opt to take the safer route and just say, I have swarm hosts and I have drones, so I'm going to go ahead and make this like a 38-minute game that I'll probably win. Yeah. But at the same time, I understand his rationale in that the way that game was going, we were looking at a lot more battle cruisers and ravens by the end of that game.
Yeah.
And so definitely. I don't blame anybody for trying to avoid the Raven battlecruiser battle.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot scarier. I think people usually keep some tanks, right, to kill locusts still, as long as there are swarm hosts on the game. But it's so hard to transition into anything that's good at fighting.
Yeah.
A battlecruiser Raven army.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really go battlecruiser, but it's definitely just like a ton. You get like, if you get up to like 10 tanks or so, that's about what you need, and then you transition into just Raven Viking, maybe a couple of Yoshi was heavily favoring the Banshees there to pick off the swarm hosts, which ended up being really effective. There was a couple of points when I thought he might not be able to make it, but he just squeaked it out. Let me know when ready. Okay, good luck, have fun. Alright, you ready, Sam? You ready to do this? We're doing it. I don't care. Going without you.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. I think, yeah, the matches... so I assume people will probably be finishing up, and hopefully we get to move into the next round for everyone. Keep people playing games. You don't want to have people waiting around.
That's right. I just got results from Playa, who 2-0'd Aegis, which is pretty surprising. I thought that I would have loved to have seen those games, because I imagine that they were probably quite competitive. Aegis is a strong turn.
Yeah, I have a feeling they'll probably meet back up a little bit later. I know. I mean, yeah. So we will definitely work on seeing a game from Aegis, though. That's for sure, and from both of them, really. I mean, the goal is to try and get as many people showcased as possible. And I mean, on the second day is going to be the finals. We're going to have all of the best players will be there. So some of the really high level games, we're kind of favoring some of the lower level players if it's like a silver versus gold. You know, you want to see that. That's fun.
Right.
Okay. So down in the bottom right corner of the map, spawning in on Deadwing, our third game of this this best of 3, the decider match, we have Honeybear. You can do Yoshi.
And spawning at the top right. Up 1-0 against last year's champion, and by that I mean the 2 months ago champion. We have Yoshi.
And by up 1-0, you mean tied at 1-1.
I mean tied at 1-1. I came in late. I thought that was their first game.
Yeah, no.
There were swarm hosts. I figured it had to have been going on for the duration of my whole series. What was the first game like?
Game 1 was merry-go-round, and our Zerg player, the very aggressive Honeybear, managed to basically just stop Yoshi from ever really comfortably taking his natural expansion. Sure. He never really got to finish that supply depot wall off at his front base, and Honeybear Honeybear, he should be Honey Badger, to be honest, because he don't give a F.
He's ravenous.
Yeah, no, he goes for it. And, I mean, honestly, I think actually after last Midwest Cup, I definitely stole his, like, ZVT of going for a quick... I mean, I'm not as good at it, that's for sure. But I really like the quick speed onto the Zerglings to get yourself map control, to try and deny a natural and definitely deny a third base. And then you can go, hey, I've got the whole map. I'll do whatever I want. Big fan
So
of
this
that.
seemed like not a quick spawning pool, a pretty
Well, it's not a quick
normal if
spawning pool.
even a little on the late side, but it's just fast gas.
It's quick gas, kind of. I
Okay.
mean, relatively, I guess. A lot of it. Recently, it's been more popular to, you know, go for the delayed gas, and just like maybe just go straight into roaches, or just basically defend with just queens for a long time, get your third base up, and then go into gas. But
Why would you build anything but roaches, right?
you know, I'm not sure, to be honest.
Heart of the roaches.
Heart of the Roach. I think both players opening up this game actually just the same as always. From what I can see, you've already got a Reaper out by Yoshi. Actually, Yoshi going for a Reactor right after that first Reaper, which in other games he's gone for 2 Reapers right away. So
Oh, okay.
maybe this one looks like it's just to scout. And he's not going to be maybe as aggressive with his Reaper Hellion play, because it hasn't really been effective for the past 2 games. Honeybear's real good at picking off Reapers. Honeybear putting, not sure if that was an accident or intentional, but he put one drone back into gas. He might go for some sort of Baneling bust. And Yoshi's actually switching it up. He's not going for mech, I don't think. He's got a couple Marines coming down.
Right, and that might just be him scared of the result of our earlier, of game 1 kind of deal. Just thinks that getting some of those Marines out makes him a little bit safer, because it looks like he is going to move his factory onto his reactor.
Well, yeah, but that's also just getting Hellions for some more map control.
Sure.
Taking down 3 command centers. Yoshi's a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of, well...
Leaving games where Terrans drop 3 quick command centers.
Yep. I was like, I don't know if I should talk about my feelings of Terrans and 3 command centers. My music is so loud of in-game. Why are you so loud? Alright.
It's like Honeybear moving out with a good number of links here. I think 16 links.
Yeah.
Only 2 Hellions at the front, no wall off at the natural.
Yeah. Yeah, Yoshi's always been a little bit slow to get that wall off down. And I think part of that is because he builds that 3rd command center really quick in base.
Some good aggression. Let's see if the Hellions on the low ground get caught. Oh, they get into the corner at least, so they should be pretty effective there.
Yeah.
No links get through.
Yeah.
No critical damage done.
Yeah. Aside from losing a few Hellions is a little bit rough, because then you just don't get to be as commanding on the field anymore.
Right. Certainly, you don't get to slow down any of that creep spread. Any of those good things like that. And now he's playing a little bit in the dark. Not sure if for sure Honeybear is taking an early 3rd, or if... I mean, you kind of know from that number of links that he probably isn't taking an early 3rd, and if he is, that's just kind of bad, because he won't have the drones to saturate it. But he doesn't know whether or not he's dropping a 3rd right now, or if he's going to just all in.
Yeah,
like the Honeybear we know and love, so...
It's a big map to all in on, but there is, I mean, it's that meta though, of like, well, I'm not. It's a bad map to all in on, so I'm gonna all in, but he's gonna expect me to all in. But he's gonna expect me to anti-metagame it, and so I'm just not gonna all in. Like, it's ridiculous when it comes down to that.
That's like layers of metagaming.
Yeah. I can't even handle that.
That's too much for me. Yeah.
So
that's beyond a dream within a dream.
Yeah.
To another dream.
We've overflowed the stack now. No?
The wall still not complete. Honeybear going in with a smaller run by. 10 links. Is going to delay some mining time of the ever valuable mules.
Although this game, he's only lost one SCV. Both players losing just one worker. Sure. He's definitely not out of it yet. Interestingly enough, he's getting blue flame very quick. I guess that's to go ahead and counter that Mutiling style, although he has no anti-air yet, which is a little concerning because Honeybear makes magic happen with Mutalisks against Terrans, to be honest.
Yeah, and very, very interesting. We have Hellbats and Medevacs, so it looks like he's going to go straight for some Hellbat drops.
Yeah.
And that's probably what the blue flame is for. It makes it goes from 2-shotting workers to, or from 3-shotting workers to 2-shotting workers.
Yep.
With that cone of death.
And we're already seeing that down in the natural of Honeybear. I think he lost that. No, he didn't lose the medevac. He just evacuated it. Killed off 7 workers and a decent number of Zerglings that were spawned to defend against that. Dropping in there with 4 more Hellions to turn into Hellbats, running 1 Hellion wherever he feels like, dropping down in the natural, dropping down in the main base, causing havoc.
Yeah, and I'd be interested here if he gets his count up of Hellions. It looks like he's just building straight Hellbats now. But I was going to say, if he tries to drop the main and push at the front, the ground distance is pretty long.
Yeah,
at least as far as boosted medevacs are concerned. But
yeah, I think he's just trying to slow Honeybear down right now.
Right.
He is really scared to drop that 3rd orbital command center anywhere onto a mineral line, though.
Right.
It's been sitting there for mules, which is good, but it's not quite everything you could want and more, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. So the power of Terran just dropping the Hellbats among Zerglings. But the mutas there should be able to clean things up. And this is the point where it should really trigger our Terran player to build Thors. Already 1 on the field. Yep. Should be getting some more.
Ooh, Hellbats in the middle of the field cleaned up, taken a bit unawares by a big old group of Zerglings. And if we check out the upgrades, actually, Honeybear has gone for +1 ranged attack. So I'm kind of in the first game he made a big transition into just a ton of roaches, which is very effective against Yoshi's army composition. And speaking of which, that supply depot wall, he left 1 down and a bunch of Zerglings came in. Killed off a good amount of workers, but also killed off a good amount of tanks, which are extremely important for the Terran to do anything very useful.
The Thor drop towards the mutas.
Yeah, man.
No big deal.
Coming in hot, you know.
Yeah.
It does push it away. Yoshi is still behind Honeybear with his worker count because it just keeps getting picked off. Honeybear, well, damn. Honeybear just makes drones like a madman because he has lost 21, but he's still at 64.
Yep.
So,
because Zerg. So I'm interested at this point. What direction do you anticipate that Honeybear tries to go? Because at this point, right, we have the fairly safely turtled mech Terran.
Yeah, within about a minute of Yoshi, if he's not harassed for the next minute or 2, he's gonna feel pretty comfy. I would just leave the game, but no, because I'm a rager. No, as I was saying, I mean he's getting that. He's focusing on those ranged upgrades, even though he's just making Zerglings.
Right.
And that's just the Terran's going to build a very anti-Zergling, anti-Muta army, which is Thors and Hellbats and maybe some Widow Mines, and not a lot of tanks. He's only got 2 on the field.
Sure. And then you expect some sort of Hydra Roach switch or something, or with Vipers, yeah, I assume?
Probably just Roach, to be honest. Right. He's not getting a very fast hive, so there might be Vipers. It depends on how late we get.
Right. Does have the infestation pit dropped, so maybe he's thinking... Does the range upgrade support Locusts? Or are they like infested Terrans and they don't get upgrades?
No, they get the damage upgrade.
Okay.
Even though they already do ridiculous damage.
Right. So I would not be entirely surprised if we saw him go into Swarm Host again.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe. I mean, Honeybear seems to not really enjoy doing that.
sure.
Although it is game 3 and you can't really just leave, you know? You can't just go on to the next one. You gotta stick it out. Unless you want
Right.
to fight your way through the losers bracket. But I was talking to Honeybear a little bit before and he was like, I'm gonna wreck, and I don't know if he's disappointed or not that 2 of the Terrans dropped out, but he was like, TVZ is like my matchup, and he was like, I'm just gonna wreck him into first place again, so he seemed pretty confident.
Yeah, buddy. Wall doesn't go down.
No, it gets a lot of damage done, but yeah, it's sort of wasted time for the Zerglings. He will kill that 4th, though.
Right, which is absolutely a nice pickup. Kind of a mistake to land it there, but...
Yeah, well, then to just leave it landed, I mean, you might as well try and get it to come home.
Right, well, at least if you lift it there, then the Mutalisks either have to stay, or or they have to leave the command center alive, at which point you might be able to get some, you know, if you're feeling confident enough to try to walk out and push him away. He does have a decent Hellion count. I'm not sure if he had enough there before to deal with the Lings, so
Yep.
maybe that's why he chose to sack it. But if nothing else, it takes more time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, if you keep it landed, then Zerglings just keep attacking. You might as well remove some sources of damage. And you're right, he's making the Swarm Hosts. Although this time, Honeybear is being very aggressive with him, but he is doing that because he has a ridiculous creep spread. He is all the way up to, he's creeping onto the feet of Yoshi's buildings right now.
Right. And
So
I mean, that makes this so much stronger. His ability to get away if he finds himself in a bad position, and the distance that the Swarm Host can be from the actual Terran player. Big difference, and as you can see, he can reinforce with Spines and Spores. So certainly a much better position. This is a pretty easy, I mean, third base for the Terran player to defend.
Yeah, it's really tough to actually break this as a Zerg, but I mean, at a certain point you just stop caring about breaking it, and so long as we can see, he's creeping up his potential 4th base. So long as the Terran doesn't take a 4th base, ooh, he's getting some roasted drones down. That the Blue Flame Hellbat drops coming back into play a little bit. Gets a few killed off by, honestly, by this point in time. I mean, Honeybear is a little low on gas, but he actually kind of would be more comfortable in like the 60 drone
Right.
supply, just because you want a bigger army now. You don't want to have a ton of drones because they don't fight very well.
Would love to see Honeybear take this base.
Yeah, he probably will.
Some might call that a manor hatch, but I would just call it forward creep.
Yeah, I think by the time
production.
his creep tumors get there, he's probably going for it.
So
Yoshi?
what is the next stage? Just Honeybear just try to take the rest of the bases on the map, or I mean,
Yeah,
he's
I mean-
way ahead in supply. He's not really scared at this point of Yoshi moving out. At least I wouldn't think.
Yeah, right now it's just the fact that Yoshi can't take a 4th base means that Yoshi's gonna run out of money eventually. As long as Honeybear is killing some of his units with, I mean, Honeybear could lose 1,000, supply or 1,000 resources of units, and Yoshi could lose 1,000 resources of units, but Honeybear keeps getting that back, and Yoshi eventually will stop being able to recreate really anything. So he'll be starving them out.
And Honeybear doing a good job of forcing some of that trading with his Mutalisks, dropping 3 more hatcheries. Not the forward one I was hoping for, but
Maybe someday.
maybe someday.
Yeah.
Right, and I don't blame him for that. I mean, it's such a close by air position
Yeah.
for
That
the
would just
Terran
be
to
like-
drop Hellbats on.
Yeah. It might not be very effective if Yoshi picked up on it. You just drop it all day. We do have a drop, speaking of which, coming over. However, it looks like
If the
Honeybear
Mutas
sees
want
it.
to, it looks like they'll be able to
Yeah.
catch it. But if they're not in the mood, it's kind of like a cat. You can't get a cat to do tricks if it's not feeling it. One Muta up to doing tricks today.
Dude,
Decides
never
he
mind.
doesn't care about the medevac or his master. The Overmind is disappointed, but the Hellbats are dropped. Not a
Yeah.
ton of drones left in the main.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not a
like
huge
the
deal.
ooh, that larva though. So yeah, it doesn't. I mean, it's not ridiculously effective just because there's nothing really left there to get rid of anyway. And that third base of Yoshi is being very strongly pressured, losing some SUVs, even losing a lot of buildings.
Oh, picks off the
Oh.
Queen, gets to scout the Vipers. The Vipers, obviously, I would think in this situation are going to be really good if they don't get picked off by the Vikings at, you know, forcing a trade of something. Ideally, those Thors, I would guess, right?
The Vipers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just making the Mutas stronger.
yeah, you can either try and pull the Thors, or you can just blinding cloud the tanks, and then the tanks are the only thing that are really stopping the swarm host or the locusts from the swarm host from just destroying
sure.
everything else.
So you just time it with a wave.
Yep, it's one or the other. Really, sometimes pulling a Thor a little bit risky because you're also going to have really bunched up mutas.
Oh, good abducts, though. He decides to pull Banshees, as they're
Yeah.
about the only thing between, the only thing threatening the swarm hosts.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, getting some of the ground units actually is kind of the harder thing to do because they're very well defended. So I think if there were Ravens there, he probably would have picked them off instead. But goes for some Banshees.
Floating a brave command center out.
Yeah, I think he actually tried that a little bit ago too. He like floated it out and he said, never mind, I can't land here. I guess I'm gonna float back home." So yeah, Honeybear was definitely ready for it this time. He was prepared for the mech play, and I think he's been dealing with it extremely effectively.
Yeah, and the transition to Sky Terran has been. I mean, I think it was a good choice. It worked out really well for him last game, being able to push back the swarm hosts and open up bases for himself. But this game, the muta count just so high. Honeybear has done such a good job of
Yeah,
forcing trades with them.
He doesn't even lose. Apparently he's lost 25 mutas this game. I was about to say Honeybear is ridiculously good at not losing mutas, but he looks like he's lost a decent number, but he still has 29. Like,
right. Well, I mean, look, he's got 8K in the
yeah.
bank.
Definitely.
I mean, the gas is the constraining factor there, but it's not like he's at a shortage of money. Hasn't done anything with his extra 3 hatches.
Yeah,
Their
they-
availability to transfer immediately, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're also, eventually you get gas on them. They're also just nice for, it's just more and more larvae.
Right.
It's a nice position to be in. And this is about the point when my computer starts to, like, die trying to render everything. But we'll see. It's doing okay.
A lot going on, but
Yeah.
I imagine this game winds down pretty quickly because we've seen the sad starvation of our Terran hero.
Yep. Yeah, just never able to take that 4th base, and that he also wasn't. I mean, to go even further back in the game, he wasn't able to stop that creep from getting all the way up into his base. You know,
Right.
if he had held that off of it. But, okay, Yoshi has to tap out. It goes
Yeah, and
to-
I mean, even if all of a sudden Yoshi put the team on his back there and he won his games, or not if he won his games, even if Yoshi put the team on his back and killed everything that Honeybear had there, his ability to remax and then remax again just makes
Yeah.
that too tough.